When Heath Ledger died, rumors swirled that it was his Dark Knight role that broke him, but that couldn't be further from the truth. In 1999, Heath Ledger introduced himself to the world through the teen rom-com 10 Things I Hate About You. He took the role of the rugged lead Patrick Verona, who shows there's more to the bad boy than meets the eye. According to Ledger's co-star David Krumholtz, the other young cast members hit it off immediately, but they were concerned about a certain Australian actor who was due to arrive a while after filming began. Would he unbalance the synergy between the castmates? On the contrary, Krumholtz wrote for Vulture, but it was Heath, a natural storyteller and always reliable for a cheesy joke, who transfixed us. Before I knew it, the cast was experiencing what I've since found to be all too rare, a unified chemistry throughout the ensemble without a single bad apple in the bunch. 10 Things I Hate About You director Gil Younger told the New York Times he knew there was something special about Ledger the moment he auditioned. As he recalled, Heath walked in, and I thought to myself, if this guy can read, I'm going to cast him. There was an energy to him, a sexuality that was palpable. Younger added that Ledger was noticeably anxious during his audition, but the filmmaker had already decided he was the pick for Patrick.
Don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't deserve what you want. Go for it.
Considering how in-demand Ledger was before his death, it's unsurprising that directors who had worked with him before wanted to do so again. Gil Younger revealed to People magazine in 2024 that he reached out to Steve Alexander, Ledger's agent, a few weeks before the actor's death to pitch a new idea, 10 Things I Hate About Me. According to Younger, it was going to be a film that explored and exploded the myths of suicide. Younger said that Alexander conveyed Ledger's interest in reuniting with the director, but that the agent would only speak to Ledger after the actor wrapped production on the film he was busy with at the time. Not long afterward, though, Ledger died. That didn't stop Younger, though. He worked on another film titled 10 Things I Hate About Life, starring Evan Rachel Wood and exploring a similar theme to what Younger proposed to Ledger's agent in 2008. The movie was never completed and resulted in Wood being sued by the producers for reportedly abandoning the production. Thanks to breakout performances in 10 Things I Hate About You and The Patriot, Heath Ledger was a bona fide star by the time he was cast as William Thatcher in 2001's A Knight's Tale. So much so that he had the ability to make big requests from studios, including one he made to Sony. Ledger asked the studio to foot the bill and fly out 14 of his friends from Australia to stay at his Los Angeles home. That number only grew over time. According to Steve Alexander, Ledger's home became the hotspot for anyone in his circle coming from Australia to California. It seemed like anytime someone would be new in town and was from Australia, it was just call Heath. He was so welcoming. Ledger's friend and cinematographer Nicola Pecorini confirmed the story of his generosity and hospitality, calling his home an open house and stating that, quote, probably 50 people had the keys. But that all changed when Ledger met Michelle Williams and they moved into a new home together. After that, his friends couldn't come and go as they pleased anymore.
Love has given me wings, so I must fly.
In 2020, Anya Taylor-Joy captivated audiences with her portrayal of chess prodigy Beth Harmon in Netflix's The Queen's Gambit. Based on Walter Tevis's 1983 novel of the same name, the show was years in the making, and at one point, Heath Ledger was set to create it. In 2008, screenwriter Alan Scott spoke to The Independent about the vision that he and Ledger had for their Queen's Gambit adaptation. Scott had held the rights to the story since 1992, but struggled to get it off the ground until he met Ledger. The actor planned to make the project his directorial debut and take on the role of a chess professional, while the role of Beth was offered to Elliot Page. Scott elaborated, I did draft after draft, and he gave his input, and we met several times in New York and Soho, where he was spending a lot of his time. We had got to the stage where we had sent the script to Elliot. Heath was full of ideas for the other cast, mainly from his list of acting friends. We were planning to make a movie at the end of 2008. Scott praised Ledger's ability as a chess player in real life, stating that he was close to becoming a grandmaster. Ledger's ex-girlfriend Naomi Watts confirmed the actor's love for the game, telling Interview magazine he was a huge, obsessive chess freak and very, very good at it. The Queen's Gambit would have been Ledger's first time directing an entire feature-length project, but it's not like he had zero experience with it during his lifetime. During production on The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan gave the actor a taste of filmmaking power by letting him direct a scene, in the Joker outfit and makeup, of course. Anthony Michael Hall, who plays the small role of reporter Mike Engel in the film, discussed the experience of having Ledger direct him with comicbook.com in 2024. The scene features Hall's character appearing on a television screen hanging upside down while reading a message from the Joker before the villain turns the camera around. Hall didn't find out from the assistant director until the day of filming that it would be Ledger shooting the sequence instead of Nolan. Ledger's handling of the scene impressed Hall, especially since it was all filmed on a handheld camera for dramatic effect. He implied that Ledger channeled the Joker in his direction, stating, "He shot it very, very viscerally and all that movement. It works great in the film. It's very cool. There's kind of an anarchy to the way he shot it. It's just like craziness."
Do I really look like a guy with a plan?
Ledger made a serious effort to embody the Joker for The Dark Knight, committing himself by developing the character's unique vocal pattern and specific tics. Considering how his death is so closely tied with the movie, rumors spread that the extent of his method acting played a part in his passing. In fact, this story turned into something of a Hollywood urban legend. Those who knew him dispute this tale, however, suggesting that Ledger knew exactly where the line was between himself and the character. Christian Bale, the Batman to his Joker, told Today in 2008 that Ledger immersed himself in the role, but he didn't go overboard. Bale stated, "Personally, I find it to be a complete lack of understanding of acting. I also found it very rude to try to create some kind of a soundbite for such a tragedy. The man was a complex man. He's a good man. I saw him as having nothing but the best time playing the Joker." At a screening of the documentary I Am Heath Ledger in 2018, the actor's sisters Ashley Bell and Kate Ledger put the rumors to rest. They explained that their brother had a blast playing the Crown Prince of Crime and thoroughly enjoyed his time wearing the iconic face paint. Heath Ledger truly loved his friends, and since he was a wealthy Hollywood actor, he showed his appreciation for them in some pretty extravagant ways. In the documentary I Am Heath Ledger, musician Ben Harper revealed how generous Ledger was to him on one special occasion. Harper recalled an evening where he and Ledger played on the actor's grand piano before the musician headed home. He woke up the next morning to find movers delivering the same piano to his house, as Ledger had decided to gift it to his friend. Not only was Harper touched by the gesture, but he was also blown away when Ledger asked him to write a lullaby for his unborn daughter a few weeks later. In 2017, Harper posted the music video for his track Morning Yearning, along with a heartfelt message on his Facebook page. The video had been directed by Ledger, and Harper paid tribute to his friend's influence by writing, "Heath Ledger was an incredible director. He was brilliant behind the camera as well as in front of it. This video of the song Morning Yearning is 100% his vision. It will always remain one of my most memorable creative experiences."
Some people are just bigger than the world has room for.
Film connoisseurs know Stephen Gaghan as the writer and director of the award-winning films Traffic and Syriana. On Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, Development Hell in 2024, Gaghan revealed that he had been working with Ledger on bringing Gladwell's novel Blink to the big screen, and that the filmmaker had eyed Ledger as the lead. The pair had been in serious discussions to the point that Gaghan's script was found in the actor's bed when he died. Gaghan explained to Gladwell, "They were there with the body, and our script was in bed with him, and your book was on the bedside table." Gaghan said that he received a call from Ledger's father, Kim, not too long after the actor was found dead, as he had seen Gaghan's number written down. Gaghan was shocked by the tragedy and the script's peculiar placement. After Ledger died, Gaghan ceased all work on the project. Heath Ledger cemented his status as a household name with the success of A Knight's Tale. It brought a new level of attention and popularity for the actor, but also frightened him, as Steve Alexander told Interview magazine. Naomi Watts shared a similar sentiment, explaining how Ledger never wanted to be a teenage hunk and fought to be seen as a serious artist.
I've waited my whole life for this moment.
According to director Matt Amato, Ledger started to resent the fame he achieved after A Knight's Tale. As Amato said, he wanted fame, and then when he got it, he didn't want it. He was mortified, and he felt owned. In 2024, Samuel Johnson, an Australian actor and one of Ledger's friends, appeared on the Aussie radio show Will and Woody and talked about an incident in which he experienced Ledger's level of celebrity firsthand. Johnson explained how they were walking together when he saw 4 fans faint after seeing Ledger in the flesh. He claimed, "I've never seen anything like it. It was phenomenal. I asked him, 'How do you cope?' and he just looked at me with a world of sadness in his eyes and said, 'I don't.'" According to friends and family, Ledger worshipped at the altar of his fellow Aussie Mel Gibson while he was growing up. Then, relatively early in his film career, he received the chance to star alongside Gibson in 2000's The Patriot. That wasn't his only connection to Gibson, though. Ledger almost had the opportunity to roam the same post-apocalyptic wasteland as his idol and make his mark on the Mad Max franchise. After Gibson's 2006 arrest, director George Miller decided to recast the role of Max Rockatansky for what would eventually become Mad Max Fury Road. As Miller explained to the Daily Beast in 2015, he started having conversations with Ledger about the part around that time. Miller detailed, "Every time Heath would come through Sydney, he'd call in and we'd chat about Max. He had that same thing that Mel and Tom Hardy have, that maleness, charisma, and restless energy, which you need to play a relatively still character. The world lost someone great when he went." Unquestionably, many fans, and probably even Miller, wonder how Ledger might have fared in comparison to Hardy and Gibson as the Road Warrior. According to Ledger's friend and dialect coach, Jerry Grenell, the actor was left drained as he filmed the Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. Grenell told People that Ledger was struggling to sleep and couldn't shake off a type of pneumonia that he was dealing with. He would hear Ledger walking around in the middle of the night and encourage him to go back to sleep, but the actor said he couldn't. In addition, Grenell admitted that Ledger wasn't in the happiest of places as he longed for his family. He revealed he missed his girl, he missed his family, he missed his little girl. He desperately wanted to see her and hold her and play with her. He was desperately unhappy, desperately sad. Steve Alexander said that although Ledger experienced setbacks and issues, he had an eye on the future. In his words, he struggled with some demons, but he didn't want to go anywhere but forward.